morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Okay. Welcome to the course Fundamentals of Entomology. I think 70 people have joined. I think another 20 or 30 yet to be joining, right? What's the strength of the class?
Sir, 92, sir.
92. 75 have joined, I think. Okay. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So shall we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I welcome all of you to this course that is Fundamentals of Entomology, AET 121, that is 2+1 course. And all of you know that this is the first year and you are in second semester. So the semester starts from 21/6/21 and it will be ending by 15/11/21. So right now, because of COVID pandemic, so the university has started online classes and has scheduled the online timetable. So according to the scheduled timetable, so weekly we'll be having 3 theory classes. So the first theory class will be on Tuesday, that is from 9:30 to 10:30. Wednesdays 10:45 to 11:45, and Saturdays from 12 to 1. And so let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Srinivas Reddy, working associate professor in entomology. So right now I am in research wing. So I am in AICRP on sunflower. So my office is situated, I think most of you come to agronomy practicals. So near that agronomy practicals building, my office is situated. Actually, we are 2 course teachers. So one myself, Srinivas Reddy, and another course teacher, Dr. B. Shivanna. So because of some health issues, so he is unable to initiate the classes. So on behalf of Dr. Shivanna, so I will be initiating the classes, and in the middle, if his health is okay, he will be continuing the course. Otherwise, I'll be completing the course by myself. So first, since today is the first class, so we will look into the syllabus, what we will be covering. So for convenience purpose, we will divide the syllabus into 4 units or 4 parts. So in the first unit, we will be studying introduction to this course, that is introduction to entomology. And in the second part, we will be studying insect morphology. So where we will be studying the external structures that are present on the insect. So it may be head or thorax or abdomen. And in the third part, that is third unit, we will be studying insect anatomy, where we will be studying the internal organs or systems that are located in the insect body. In the fourth unit, we will be studying the insect systematics. So since this is a 2+1 course, we will be studying all these 4 major parts. So coming to the introduction part. So in introduction part, so we will be studying what is entomology. So what is the definition of entomology, and what is the scope of this subject. And in this unit, we'll be studying the history of entomology in India. So it may be Vedic period or pre-Vedic period or modern period. So what are the contributions of entomologists to entomology? So this we'll be studying in history part. And next we'll be studying the position of insect in animal kingdom. So where exactly the class Insecta is situated in the animal kingdom. And next, we'll be studying the factors for insect abundance and dominance. So, what are the factors that affect insects' abundance, and what are the factors that contribute for insect dominance? And next, we'll be studying the major points related to dominance of insects in animal kingdom. And next, we'll be studying the classification of phylum Arthropoda and Arthropoda further into different classes. So, since class Insecta comes under phylum Arthropoda, so we'll be studying what are the characteristic features of phylum Arthropoda and division into different classes. And finally, under introduction part, we'll be studying the relationship of class Insecta with other classes of Arthropoda. So this is the syllabus we'll be covering in first unit, that is Introduction to Entomology. And the second unit is insect morphology. So here we'll be studying the structure and function of the insect cuticle. So insect cuticle is nothing but the skin of insect. And we know that insects grow by a process called as molting. So here we'll be studying how exactly the molting takes place in insects. And since the insect body is divided into different segments, so we'll be studying the different segments of insect body. And next we'll be studying the structure of head, thorax and abdomen. And then we'll be studying the general external structures that are present on the insect body. So it may be antenna, or it may be compound eyes, it may be legs, or it may be wings. So these are the general structures that are present on the insects. So this we'll be studying here. And next we'll be studying the modifications of insect antenna and the type of mouth parts, the type of insect legs and the wings. And next we'll be studying the wing venation and wing coupling mechanisms that are present in the insect body. Then we'll be studying the structure of male and female genital organs that are situated in the abdomen. And insects grow by a process called metamorphosis. So we'll be studying the different types of metamorphosis and how it takes place. And when conditions are unfavorable, so insects undergo a process of resting called as diapause. So we'll be studying the diapause in insects. And also we'll be studying the different types of larvae and pupa that are present in insects. So this is what we'll be studying under Unit 2, that is insect morphology. The next part is insect anatomy. So under this we'll be studying the structure and functions of various systems. So the first system is the digestive system, the types of modifications of digestive system, and how exactly the food is digested, and what are the different types of enzymes that help in digestion. Secondly, we'll be studying the circulatory system, that is how blood circulation takes place in the insect body. So next we'll be studying the excretory system of insects. Then we'll be studying the respiratory system in insects. So how the insects respire, that is both on the land as well as in the aquatic ecosystems. And next we'll be studying the coordination system, that is the nervous system. So how different organs are coordinated with the nervous system. And also next we'll be studying the different endocrine organs or exocrine organs that are present in the insect body. Next, we'll be studying the different types of reproductive system, that is both male and female reproductive systems, and what are the types of reproductions that insects undergo. And finally, under insect anatomy, we will be studying the major sensory organs like the compound eyes and chemoreceptors. So this is what we will be studying under the third unit, that is insect anatomy. And the last unit is insect systematics or insect taxonomy. So we will be studying the meaning and definitions of taxonomy. So why should we study taxonomy? That is, what is the importance of studying taxonomy? And also we will be studying the history of insect classification, like how the scientists they classify insects from time to time. And all of you must be aware of binomial nomenclature, where we will be naming the insects using two names. The first one is a generic name and the second one is a species name. So we'll be studying the binomial nomenclature with respect to naming of insects. Then we should be studying some of the definitions of some of terminologies related to taxonomy, like what's the meaning of biotype, subspecies, species, genus, family, order, and so on. And finally, we will be studying the classification of insects into different orders, and we'll be studying some economically important families under each insect order. So this is what is the syllabus for this course. So after this syllabus, so what are the important reference books you can refer for this course? So some of the important reference books which you can get in our library for this course are, so the first one is the insect structure and function. So if you have the habit of going to library, maybe in the third floor or fourth floor, that is if I remember correctly, in room number 9, we get the textbooks related for this course. The first book is Insects Structure and Function by Chapman from UK. The second important book is Study of Insects, that is an introduction to study of insects by Borer, Triplehorn and Johnson. So it consists of 875 pages. So with respect to the third unit, that is insect anatomy, you can refer this insect anatomy, insect physiology and anatomy by Pant NC and Swaraj Gai. And next important book is IMS General Textbook of Entomology. So this comes under two editions. So in the first edition, that is volume 1, it consists of the insect structure, physiology and development. And in the second volume, we will be studying, you will get the information related to the classification and biology of insects. So this was edited by Richards O.W. and R.G. Davies. So both the volumes are around 1345 pages. And the next book is The Science of Entomology by Romoser, that is 449 pages. And the next another important book is modern entomology by Temhare, which consists of 516 pages. So these are the some of the textbooks for this course that you can refer. So this is about the syllabus and reference books for this course. So since today is the first class, I'll be giving the introduction to this course. So I'll be giving the introduction to this course. So first, you should know what is the meaning of entomology. So what is entomology? So entomology is nothing but it is the biological science that deals with the study of insects. So it's a biological science that deals with the study of insects. And so far, how many insects have been described so far? So there are insects on the earth, and how many insects have been described so far? So according to one estimate, more than 1 million different species of insects have been described till date. So all of you might have been heard of the scientist by name Carolus Linnaeus or Carl von Linnaeus. So he is called as father of taxonomy. So he is called father of taxonomy. So he introduced the concept of binomial nomenclature. So as I already told you, he is a father of taxonomy. And in 1758, he published a book called Systema Naturae. So in the 10th edition of Systema Naturae, so he mentions the concept of binomial nomenclature. So as I already told you, binomial nomenclature is nothing but naming the organism by giving two names. So the first one is a generic name and the second one is a species name. And in the 10th edition of Systema Naturae, so he described around 4,383 species of animals. So he described 4,383 species of animals, and out of them 3,049 species described were insects. So out of 4,383 species, 3,049 species discovered by him were insects. So this will account to 70%. That is 70% of organisms described by Carl Linnaeus were insect. And after 1758, so far 1.8 million life forms have been described on the Earth surface. So out of this 1.8 million life forms, 1.05 million were insects. So out of 1.8 million described species, 1.05 million species are insects. So you will come to know what is the abundance and diversity of insect species. So coming to the proportion of the living organisms on Earth surface. So what is the proportion of living organisms on the Earth surface? So this pie chart gives the diversity and abundance of the different organisms. So as we look here, the insects take the major share. So the insect take major share. So for 10 lakh 50,000 insects have been described on the Earth surface. So if you look into the table given here, so this side, left side, we have the living organisms, and the right side, I have given the number of described species so far. So if you take the plant kingdom, so for 4 lakh to 5 lakh species of plants have been described so far. So if you come to the animal kingdom, so if we exclude insects out of animal kingdom, there will be 8 lakh animal species. Suppose if we include insects under animal kingdom, then it will be 18 lakh species. So excluding insects, it is 8 lakh species. Inclusive of insects, it is 18 lakh species described so far. And coming to the number of vertebrates, so around 2 lakh vertebrate species have been described so far. And coming to the lower invertebrates, other than insects, there are 50,000 lower invertebrates. And the major share goes to insects. So already I told you, insects are around 10 lakh 50,000 species. So this is the described species so far on the earth surface. So if you look into the all organisms, so more than 50% of the organisms are insects. So next coming to the proportion of insects in animal kingdom. The proportion of insects in the animal kingdom. So if you take the proportion of insects, so in this pie chart, so here 75% of organisms under animal kingdom are insects. So 75% of organisms are insects in the animal kingdom. So the rest are other arthropods, other invertebrates, protozoans and vertebrates. So in animal kingdom, the insects contribution for abundance is around 75%. So next coming to the number of described and undescribed species so far. Number of described and undescribed species so far. So if you look into this graph, the green colored mark is the described species, and this orange or yellowish colored one or undescribed species. That is the estimate of undescribed species. So you can see the different organisms on left side, but our interest is with respect to class insecta. So already I told you approximately around 1 million of insects have been described so far. But if you look into the undescribed species, so there are around still 8 million insects yet to be described. That means only around 1/8 of the insects have been described. Still 1/7 portion of the insects remain to be undescribed. So because the insects live everywhere, so some insects are accessible and some are not accessible. For example, the insects living in a deep ocean might not have been studied very well. Or similarly, the insects that might have been in deep forest areas that might have not been explored so far. Or the insects that might have been in deserts might not have been studied extensively. So these unexploited or unexplored insects are estimated to be around 8 millions. But so far only 1.05 million of insects have been identified. So coming to the diversity among insects. So coming to the diversity among insects. So if you look at this pie chart, you can see the diversity of insects. For example, if you take this holometabolous insects or the insects that undergo complete metamorphosis, so they contribute to more than 75%. So among these holometabolous insects, 38% of them are coleopterans. So I think there is a information given here. So coleopterans contribution is 38%, Lepidopteran contribution, that is moths and butterflies contribute to 16%. The wasps and honeybees, they contribute to 30% of insects. The flies and mosquitoes and others, they contribute to 12%. The bugs or the hemipterans, they contribute 11%. And the rest others, they may contribute to 10%. So what I wanted to say is, among the insects, the coleopterans, that is beetles and weevils, they take the major share, around 38%. So far we have studied the number of living organisms on the earth's surface, and what is the share of animal kingdom among the living organisms, and what is the share of insects in the animal kingdom. So this is about the abundance and diversity of insects. So coming to the definition of the term entomology. So already I told you, entomology is the branch of zoology that deals with the scientific study of insects. Entomology is the branch of zoology that deals with the scientific study of insects. So this entomology is derived from the ancient Greek word. So the term entomology is derived from the ancient Greek word. So entomon means insect. Entomon means insect, that is something cut into. So entomon means insect. The meaning is something cut into. So cut into means the insect may be cut into different segments. Logos means discourse or study. So logos means discourse or study. So according to the ancient Greek meaning, so it is the study of insects. So in Latin language, the word entomology means insecere. So the word entomology means insecere. So insecere means cut into or cut up. Cut into or cut up. And one more Latin word insectum. Insectum. So insectum means animal that has been cut into. So already I told you, cut into means the insect is cut into different segments. And the person who studies insects is called as entomologist. So the person who studies insects is called as entomologist. So he will be studying the insects, and also he will be observing the insects, and he will be collecting the insects for identification purpose. And some of the insects he will rear them, and finally he will be using them for identification purpose. And some of the insects collected by him will be used for experimental purposes. So a person who studies insects, observe, collect, rear, and experiment them with is called as entomologist. So usually entomologists conduct research related to evolution, ecology, behavior, taxonomy, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and genetics. So the entomologists, they conduct research related to all these subjects. So it may be ecology, taxonomy, physiology, etc. And entomology includes entomology includes many positive aspects of the insects. So you might have been thinking that insects means they are dangerous or harmful, but it is not the so case. But if you take the beneficial aspects and the harmful aspects, the beneficial aspects of the insects are more compared to the harmful aspects. That means insects are more benefit to the environment rather than their harmful natures. So the statement says the insects have many positive effects, positive aspects because of their benefits to the environment that outweighs their harmful nature. So these are the definitions of different terminologies. Next, coming to the definition of insect or insecta. Definition of insect or insecta. So what are insects? So insects are any small air-breathing arthropods of class Insecta having the body divided into head, thorax and abdomen with three pairs of legs and two pairs of wings in most of the species. So remember, insects are air-breathing arthropods. Body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. So carrying three pairs of legs and two pairs of wings. So if you take entomology, so the entomology includes both fundamental and applied sciences. So entomology has both the fundamental sciences as well as applied sciences. So under fundamental sciences or basic sciences, we will be studying the insect morphology, the insect taxonomy, insect anatomy, insect physiology, insect biochemistry and insect ecology. So as far as your first course is concerned, so in the first course we will be studying the basic aspects of insect morphology, anatomy, physiology and taxonomy. And in coming courses, so we will be having another 3 courses of entomology. So the other 3 courses of entomology, they come under applied sciences. So under applied sciences, you have pest management, biological control, insect pathology, insect toxicology, etc. So entomology can be studied under fundamental sciences as well as applied sciences. So this is the definition of entomology and different branches of entomology. So today's class I'll be discussing about some of the important facts about insects. So here in a few slides I'll be telling what humans can do, insects can also do. So as a human beings, we do some of the things. Similarly, insects can also do those things. So if you look here, here, I think all of you can make out. So this is nothing but a pot made by a pottery man. So if you go to village sites, so you can see how exactly the pots are made. But if you look into the adjacent diagram, so these are also pots that are made by insects. For example, we have potter wasps. So potter wasps prepare their nests in the form of pots. So on the left side, you can see the pots prepared by human beings. On the right side, you can see the pots that are prepared by insects. So in the next diagram, you can see how exactly the insect, that is wasp, which is constructing its nest in the form of a pot. So you can see here the different types of pot nests prepared by this potter wasps. So if you look at the diagram here, so once the nest is prepared, so what the wasp will do is, it will collect some of the caterpillars and store them inside this pot-like nest. So after storing the caterpillar, what this wasp will do is, it will lay its eggs on the larva. So the wasp will lay its eggs on the caterpillar. So what are the eggs that hatch out? Those caterpillars, those larval wasps, they feed on these caterpillars. So once the wasp lays its eggs on the caterpillar, the egg will hatch out and the young wasp will come out. So those young wasps, they will feed on these caterpillars. That means, so insects can use tools like human beings. So whatever the tools we use for making a pot, so insects also use the tools for preparing their nest. So this is the first one. And the second diagram, what you are seeing is, so this is a multi-storied building with well ventilated. So multi-storied building with a good ventilation and air conditioning chambers. So if you look here, so this is the building built by termites. So this is the building built by termites. So you can see the height of the termite mound. So I think it will be 2 or 3 storied building. 2 or 3 storied building. Similarly, so this is also one of the mound built by termites in some of the African countries. So here, whatever the termite mounds that were built by insects, whatever the termite mounds that were built by the insects, so those were the aspirations for building multi-storied buildings by human beings with a good ventilation and air conditioning system. So if you look here, so the inside, it will be well ventilated. So by looking into this ventilation mechanism, so the human beings have learned to make the air conditioning systems in the multi-storied buildings. That means we have learned building multi-storied buildings from the insects. So if you look here, in the olden days, the traditional people, they used to wear the dresses. So earlier we did not have any cotton cloths. So what they used to do is, so they used to kill animals, and whatever the skin that get from the animals, they were using the animal skin in the form of dresses. But today, in the modern world, we have the silk sarees or the silk that is excreted by the insects that can be used in preparation of garments. So what I wanted to say is, human beings wear clothes. So the next question is, have you seen insects wearing dresses? Have you seen insects wearing dresses? So yes, some of the caterpillars called as bagworms. So these bagworms wear dresses. So these bagworms, they wear dresses. So if you look here, so there is a caterpillar head here. So the caterpillar body is covered by some dress-like material. So usually the insects wear dresses to protect themselves from the natural enemies. So here also you can see the caterpillar, which is enclosed in a dress that is made out of debris and sticks. So this caterpillar has prepared its own dress by using waste leaves and the waste sticks. Similarly, here you can see the dried leaves are used for preparation of dress-like material. And in the next diagram, you can see the caterpillars that are peeping out at the bottom. So they have covered their body using whatever the pine leaves that are present. That means we don't only wear dresses, so insects also wear dresses. And next one is, so nowadays we travel from one country to another country. So the purpose may be different. So some people go on for tourist for sightseeing. Some people may go on for a business trip, and some may go on educational trip. We the human beings travel from one country to another country. So the question is, do insects travel? Do insects travel? So if they travel, how many kilometers do they travel? So yes, the insects also can travel for long distances. So you might have heard locusts. So locusts are nothing but the grasshoppers. So these locusts travel long distance from one continent to another continent. So if you look here, this is the African continent. So from African continent, they migrate to Asian continent. So you can see here, there are some insects which come to the India, that is Gujarat or Jammu and Kashmir. So the purpose of this migration is, so whenever the conditions are unfavorable, so it may be lack of food, it may be lack of mates or unfavorable weather conditions. So what the insects will do is they travel from one place to another place in search of favorable environmental conditions. So in this diagram, you can see the distance traveled by insect locusts. So here they had traveled 6,000 kilometers. So here they had traveled 5,000 kilometers. Maybe from Sudan to India, they migrate around 2,500 kilometers. So how exactly the scene of migration will be seen? So here the insects, these are not birds. So these are locusts that are traveling from one place to another place. So what they do is, so they keep on traveling, and sometimes if they are in need of the food, they settle down in one of the place, and whatever the vegetation that is available, they feed on those vegetations. So insects also can travel from one country to another country, or from one continent to another continent. So here you can see, so this is US, so now South America. So you can see the migration pattern by this monarch butterflies. Monarch butterflies, they leave their summer breeding ground, that is from northern US, and move towards US and Canada, traveling around 3,000 miles to reach their wintering ground. So here you can see, so the number of butterflies that travel. So you can see, so wherever they get the vegetation, they sit on the vegetation and they will have their food and proceed further. And next is, so we the human beings, so we sing as well as dance. So if you look here, so for relaxation purpose, so human beings sing songs. Human beings sing songs. So my question is, do insects also sing songs or play the music? So insects also sing the songs and play the music. For example, if you take crickets, so if you take crickets, so the crickets will sing the songs. So the cricket will sing the songs. You can see the songs sung by crickets that have been recorded. So in the first picture, you can see the songs that are recorded by human beings. In the second picture, you can see the songs recorded by insects. So the next question is, why the insects should sing? So insects sing for various purposes. So the main purpose is to attract the opposite sex for the mating purpose. So to attract the opposite sex for mating purpose, the insects sing songs. And we the human beings, we do different types of dances. So the dances may be hip hop dance or Bharatanatyam or belly dance or break dance, etc. So we perform different types of dances. So my question is, do insects also dance? Yes, insects do dance, especially if you take honeybees. So the honeybees perform different types of dances to convey the food sources from the hive. So they do different dances. So if you look into the diagram, so this is a bee that is dancing. This is a bee that is dancing, and I can see the bees surrounding, bees that are surrounding, they are observing the dance of these bees. For example, if this bee might have gone out for the collection of food, if the bee is gone out for collection of dance, so if the food is within a short distance of less than 50 meters, if the food is within the short distance of less than 50 meters, so the bee performs a dance called as round dance. So round dance means it starts from here, finishes one round, again it moves like this and finishes in another round. So this indicates if the bee performs round dance here, so this tells the other bees that the food is situated within 50 meters of the distance. But it doesn't tell in which direction. It only tells the food is situated within the 50-meter radius. The second one is called as waggle dance or AET-shaped dance. So this dance is performed by bees if the food is beyond 50 meters. So what they do is the bee will shake its abdomen, moves here, moves in first half, then again it moves in the second half. So if you look here, this looks like a digit 8. So this waggle tail dance is performed if the food is more than 50 meter. And also in this dance, it tells in which direction the food is available. Suppose if the comb or nest is present here, if this is the sun and if this is the food source, so you can see the angle here. So between the sun and the food source, you can see the angle here. So here also, the insect will dance based on the angle. Suppose if this is a 70-degree angle, so insects also dance in the 70-degree angle with respect to sun and the food source. So you can see here the angle. So this angle indicates the direction of the dance. So in this way, honeybees they convey their food source with the help of dancing mechanism. And next the human beings. So they capture or trap various organisms. So here if you look here, so this is a trap for trapping the rats, and here you can see the human beings they have trapped the fish. Similarly, for trapping the wild animals, they go for this what is called as kedda in Kannada. Kedda means, so they will keep the sticks here and close the pit with the mud. So whenever the animal steps on these sticks, it falls into the pit. So in this way, either human beings or the rats or others, they trap organisms. So next one is do insects also trap others? So if you look here, this is a antlion larva. So whenever you go to some sandy areas, you might have seen pits like this. So inside the bottom of the pit, if you open, you will find this antlion larva. So what it will do is, suppose if the ants come over to the pit, so the ants will slide into the bottom. So once the ant slide into the bottom, it will be caught by the larva. And so if you look into the diagram here, so you can make out a tree here, and you can make out a person sitting here. Similarly, you can make out one more person sitting here. So this is the military people who are camouflaging, so that the opposite enemy people cannot locate these soldiers. So the soldiers, they disguise or they camouflage in such a way that their appearance is merging with the background. So do insects also camouflage? Do insects also camouflage? Yes, they do camouflage. For example, this is the grasshopper. This is a grasshopper where the wing is similar to the leaf. So when you look into the background, you cannot make out that the grasshopper is present on the leaf. Similarly, in this diagram, this is called as a leaf insect. Leaf insect. So when the insect is sitting on the leaf, you cannot make out which is leaf, which is the insect. So like insects, they also have a midrib. They also have midrib, and also they have veins. So you cannot differentiate between the leaf and the leaf insect. Similarly, there are other insects which are camouflaged. Okay, if you look here, there is a butterfly here. There is a butterfly here. It looks like a dried leaf. So these are dried leaf. In between the dried leaf, you can see a butterfly that is camouflaging the leaf. So here you can see a wood. You can see a wood, and above the wood you can see a small piece of wood attached to it. But this is not a wood. It is a moth. It is a moth. So here you can make out the legs. Here you can make out the legs. Suppose if the moth is sitting on this wood, we cannot differentiate which is wood and which is moth. And this is a dried stick. This is a dried stick. You can see an insect hanging to the stick. So you can see an insect hanging to the stick. So these are the legs, and this is the head region, and this is the tail region. So you cannot differentiate the insect from the dried twig. So in this way, insects camouflage for themselves from protecting from the enemies. So there is one more insect. One more insect. So here you can see a caterpillar. You can see a caterpillar in between the leaves. So here you cannot differentiate the caterpillar from the leaves. So in this way, the insects camouflage themselves for protecting from the natural enemies. And next coming to the parental care. So all of us know that we do give parental care to our kids. So either father or mother gives parental care to the child. Similarly, if you look into the, so there is a hen that is sitting on the eggs and protecting itself. So my next question is, do insects have parental care? So if you look here, this is a bug. This is a bug. After laying the eggs, it the eggs, and once the eggs hatch out, the nymphs will come out. So the nymphs are guarded by the mother insect. So the nymphs are guarded by the mother insect. And here this is a giant water bug. This is a giant water bug, especially the female. So this is a female giant water bug. So what this female will do is, it will lay its eggs on the back of the male. So the female giant water bug, it will lay the eggs on the back of the male giant water bug. So what the male will do is, the male will take care of the eggs till they hatch out. Till they hatch out. So in this way, insects also show parental care to their young ones or the eggs, like the birds or the human beings. And earlier days, whenever there are wars between the countries, we do use chemical weapons. We do use chemical weapons. So some of the insects, they also use chemical weapons to ward over their enemies. For example, this is a bombardier beetle. This is a bombardier beetle. Suppose if it is attacked by any enemy, it explodes some of the chemicals. It explodes some of the chemicals to ward over the enemies. So this chemical is nothing but the hydrogen peroxide. So if you look at the internal mechanism here, so there is a mechanism for explosion of the chemical. So whatever the hydrogen peroxide that is present here, so it explodes with the sound. This explodes with the sound around 212 degree Fahrenheit. So in this way, insects use chemicals for protecting themselves. So next, what insects can do, humans can't do. So what are the things that insects can do, but humans can't do? For example, human beings can swim. Human beings can swim, but they can't walk on the water. Is it possible? Humans cannot walk on the water. But if you look into these diagrams, so if you look into these diagrams, so the slides are moving. So here you can see the insects that can walk on the insect surface. So that is what insects can do, human beings can't do. So insects can walk on water surface, but human beings, it is impossible for them to walk on the water surface. So next, can man live inside the soil? Can man live inside the soil? So I think it is impossible for man to live inside the soil because he cannot breathe. But if you take insects, the insects can survive within the soil. For example, if you look here, these are white grubs or root grubs. So these white grubs can live within the soil surface. Next, insects can exploit places which human beings cannot exploit. I think most of you might have the experience of this. So these kids are scraping their hairs. So this is because due to the lice that are present in the hair. So you can see these are of the lice, and this is the lice that are present in the hairs. That means insects are the only organisms that can exploit our hair, whereas other organisms cannot. And here you can see the bulbs that can produce light. So in the process of producing the light, some of the energy is lost in the form of heat. But insects also produce light, but the heat production is almost zero. So you can see here, these are some of the insects that can produce lights. So it may be fireflies, it may be railroad worms, or it may be click beetles, or it may be cockroaches. So during night time, their body will glow. That means insects are the only organisms that can produce 100% light without heat production. So you can see here. So insects, men can lift the items that may be twice their body weight or thrice their body weight. So human beings can lift only twice or thrice their body weight. But insects can lift the things that are 10 or 15 times their body weight. If you can see here, this is a dung ball and this is a dung beetle. So insects can lift more than their body weight, maybe 10 times. And all of us know that if somebody is going up, we will try to pull their legs. But insects are not so. They will help each other in reaching the target. That means there are many things which we have to learn from the insects. So in this way, what the insects can do, human beings can't do. So which is the most dangerous living creature in the world? Is it cobra, or is it a lion, or is it a crocodile? So which is the most dangerous creature? So these are not the most dangerous creatures. For example, around 4,75,000 human beings are murdered per year. Similarly, due to snake bites, there are around 50,000 deaths. Similar to dog bites, there are 25,000 deaths per year. But look into the figures here. Around 7 lakh 25,000 people die every year due to mosquito bites and the deadly diseases transmitted by them. So now you will come to know which is the most dangerous creature on the earth. So it is not snake, it is not the lion, it is not the crocodile. It is the tiny insect, that is mosquito, that is responsible for killing 7 lakh 25,000 peoples. That means we have to fear more for mosquitoes rather than wild animals. So I think it's 9:30. So I think we will stop here and we will continue in the second hour. So was my voice audible and the screens were the slides were clearly visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think since today is a first class, I given the introduction to insects. So we will stop here. So I'll send the link as I sent today for tomorrow's class by night. So tomorrow we will meet in second hour.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you to everybody. We'll meet tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
sir.
So I'll stop sharing and I'll log out.